Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. This guy right here who actually found a way to get himself cleaned up. I am Ray Flook, television beat writer for Bleeding Cool. Welcome you back to our weekly recap for The Walking Dead Season 8. And believe it or not, folks, last night was actually the Season 8 finale, so let's just have a moment of silence. Okay, that's it for the moment of silence. We're going to be taking a look at last night's episode, Wrath, which was a huge build-up to what was billed as the ending to all-out war and how everything was going to go. And from my standpoint, I was curious to see how much would they mirror the comic book as opposed to how they would go off on their own. And I would say, ending-wise, they did a nice, interesting little mix of the two. Obviously, it's tough to stay with the comic book when you have certain things happening here that didn't happen there, like Carl dying and the whole Andrea issue and everything like that. But as we go through it, you'll see there's some similarities there, and then there's just one big, interesting, shocking thing that I didn't see coming that I definitely want to talk about. But plot-wise, I honestly, I would say there isn't anything big, super shocking that we didn't see coming in regards to the all-out war storyline. We find out in the beginning that Negan's playing a little bit of ambush, Inception game. Then we find out that while there was a fake plan planted, then there's going to be a secondary group of saviors who Rick and his people kill, and then they get a fake plan as to where Negan's going to be. So, of course, essentially, it's kind of like a turkey shoot. Saviors are up on the hilltop. They've got the advantage. They got the ammo advantage. Essentially, Rick and the rest of them are just sitting ducks, and Negan does the whole countdown as he's got a gun to Gabriel's head, and as Dwight is just kind of chilling out there, sporting Daryl's old Scarlet Letter type A clothing from a while back. We then find out that, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Eugene does actually have a heart, a backbone, a pair, whatever you want to phrase it, because, yeah, he made sure that Gabriel listened to him when he said, you were to follow my instructions to the T. And those instructions were, let's make crappy ammo that either kills saviors, blows off fingers, hands, or things like that. And that includes Negan. So everything goes to crap. And now we have just got a major battle going on between Rick and his forces, as well as those that were there that were backing Negan. While Negan's smart, he hightails it. He's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. And of course, Rick, seeing that, goes in chase. Now, let's not forget what's going on at Hilltop. Hilltop, you have another group of saviors that are coming to essentially, I guess for lack of a better phrase, kind of like do Negan's work on location as opposed to what Negan was going to be doing hands-on. But unfortunately for them, we also have the appearance of Aaron and Oceanside, who are also there to save the day. So we really have the rallying the forces that takes place, which again, none of this is surprising. It was nice to see Eugene, becoming the hero. I had a feeling that's where it was going, but again, when you've had this much build-up, you still get excited and you still don't mind seeing it. You just thought it was fantastic. Then you have the classic Rick-Negan confrontation. My only complaint, would like to have seen it extended out a little bit before Rick took that bad Lucille shot to the stomach, which, again, people need to realize, because I saw a couple of people saying it's like, why was Rick down? Rick didn't just take a shot with a baseball bat. Rick took a shot in the stomach with a baseball bat that's wrapped in barbed wire. And let's not even get under the possibility of, getting septic or anything like that from whatever was on it. That's beside the point. But there is that beautiful moment from the comic book, whereas that moment of they're reaching each other, they understand each other, and then and Rick with the nice move to just shut that crap down, to steal a phrase and clean it up just so I can actually post this video on Bleeding Cool. Rick actually just ends that. But in keeping with Carl's word, he immediately instructs Michonne and Sadiq to get over there and save him. Now, guess who's not a fan of Negan getting saved? Maggie, who loses her crap. And again, I give Lauren Cohen a lot of credit. She's done some amazing work on The Walking Dead. But this scene and a scene later on were layers to Maggie that I didn't see coming. And that completely blew my mind. Aaron, I think, is going to be very interesting as we move forward in what role he's going to play. Because I think Aaron's come out of his whole Oceanside experience a different person. And I think he's going to come out of it a stronger leader. Very curious to see where that leads into the future, which I am so tempted to talk about in a second. But from this point forward, we see what we expect. Saviors are realizing it's over, and they're surrendering to Rick's coalition. They're surrendering to Maggie and to the rest of them. What we find is Rick giving one of those really great speeches where it's like, look, we can fix this. We can do this. Put your crap down. Go back to your homes. Start fixing stuff up. We have the keys and the potentials to make this a better place and a better thing. Now, a couple interesting things that we also saw from the episode. There earlier in the episode, Henry was asking Carol if she was going to be coming back to the kingdom. It would appear that Carol's coming back to the kingdom, so it's very nice to see her, Jerry, Ezekiel, and Henry making their way back. Morgan, I think, is a very interesting story. You can understand where he's coming from and everything that he's dealt with, and this idea of going now from war to peace is an adjustment that is tough for him to make. And you see he goes to speak to Jadis to tell Jadis, like, look, who's Anne? Jadis/Anne, Rick wants you back. Come back and join. You have something to offer. Be part of this new society. But it's sad and it's heartbreaking that Morgan chooses to stay there. And I won't tip away anything when I do the Fear of the Walking Dead review. Cheap plug for that coming later today. But it's his story is getting much more interesting, and I think Morgan's story needed to be told in a different platform that wasn't The Walking Dead. So we see all of this, and we see everything starting to come together, and we see beautiful moments in the beginning and at the end, flashbacks between Rick and a young Carl, and I think one of the pictures is posted on the site. Just, it was beautiful, and it was heartbreaking, and there's that moment where we hear Rick at least reciting his letter back to Carl to let Carl know, hey, son, I did good. I did good. I can protect these people. I'm not so lost that I can't find my way back. That Rick finally got to prove that Carl was right and that Morgan was wrong in a good way that proves that Morgan can also redeem himself. You can never, you don't have to be so far gone that you can't find your way back home. And I thought that was an amazing message of the episode. An episode that, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people were expecting lots of, like, explosions and big fights and things like that. We got that all season. I like the idea of two forces facing off with each other where one is only slightly in a better condition than the other one is. Because let's not forget, Saviors, that ammo, even if it had worked, was pretty much the last of their ammo. So I was wondering where it would have gone after that point. So again, I think it was an effective episode. I think it was a great wrap-up to it. I understand what they're saying because I felt like it was 8 seasons being wrapped up, not just a season, because of the possibilities of where this season is taking us. Which is where I get to the important part. And this was the, oh wow, didn't see it coming moment. Now, we know Maggie wants Negan dead. In fact, Maggie and Rick pretty much were on the same page with that the entire season until Carl's death and the influence that he had upon Rick and a number of the others. Apparently that influence didn't quite find its way to Maggie, who still wants Rick dead. Rick dead, wow, oops. But still wants Negan dead. And really, we find out in a scene towards the end, and it's posted here, which will be probably the most talked about scene of the season, and definitely during the off-season. Almost at a Godfather-type move, we see Maggie talking to somebody in her office, and she is stone cold, hardcore, pin-pan-strong killer mode. And she's talking to Jesus. And they're basically saying, like, look, it was good to keep the Saviors alive. We need the Saviors alive. It was wrong for Rick and Michonne to keep Negan alive. It was wrong for Rick and Michonne to do what they did. And Maggie's basically saying to Jesus, we're going to do what we need to do, and we're going to strengthen up the hilltop, and we are going to make it a society. We're going to make it strong. We're going to make it a place that will never have to defend itself like it's had to defend itself in the past. And then talks about doing it to show Rick and Michonne. And then the connotation is they don't have time for Rick and Michonne's leadership anymore. That this society is going to move on without them by any means necessary. And what made it even more ominous was seeing Daryl kind of step out of the shadows and agree with them. Now, where this could go and what this could mean, it could be 100 different things. But that scene, that tone was just one of those jaw-dropping moments where I was like, oh, Season 9 really is going to open up. And when they talk about opening up, I'm wondering, is Season 9 going to be almost in a kind of a Game of Thrones type vibe, where we're going to be dealing a lot more with what's left of Alexandria, the Hilltop, Kingdom, and other areas. And let's not forget Georgie and her people are out monitoring everything and seeing how everything's going in that regards. We got Alden with the Saviors, who really seem to be hitting hard on Maggie during this episode. So I'm curious to see what influence. Will she end up using him? Will he be the humanistic aspect that keeps Maggie from going completely over to the Negan side? I honestly don't know. And as I said before, I'm curious to see what factor Aaron's going to play in this. Because, again, I don't see Aaron coming back from this and not wanting to take or assume some type of leadership position role. I think it's important. And the other aspect, too, that I think makes it interesting is, you know, we see Rick and Michonne talking to Negan at the end while he's in his hospital bed. And they're doing some really harsh stuff to him to remind him you're being kept alive so you can see what a failure you were and how much the society's moved on from you. But I'm getting the feeling that, honestly, in almost kind of a Silence of the Lambs Hannibal Lecter type way, that maybe Negan might end up being the influence that Rick and Michonne need to either get through to Maggie or to stay alive. So I'm very interested to see where this dynamic goes. Season 9, I'm excited because now we got a whole world of possibilities. Made even more so by the fact that The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead are now on the same exact timeline, which I'll be talking about a lot more in my Fear the Walking Dead review, which will be going on later on today with all the guest appearances it had. But again, Walking Dead Season 8, really strong season. Really love the way they wrapped it up because they found a way to wrap up the season and get me excited for the open world possibilities of the next season. And also served as a really good segue for Walking Dead viewers to start checking out Fear the Walking Dead, which again, I'm not going to spoil, but all in all, excellent episode. I was very impressed with it. I understand some people who expect certain things from television shows, big explosions, things like that, may be disappointed. I like the subtleties, the nuances, and the possibilities of where things can go in the future besides wrapping up the things that I saw. So again, two big thumbs up on the episode. Very happy, very pleased, feeling a little something that I won't be doing these for a couple months, so I'm going to miss you guys in that regard. But don't forget, I've got a whole bunch of other reviews that are going to be coming up. We're doing Fear the Walking Dead, wrapping up AP Bio. We've got Castle Rock coming up soon. I'm in the middle of doing Siren. So guys, please check out Bleeding Cool channel on YouTube. Check out a lot of the reviews, the Bleeding Cool chatter stuff we have going in there, everything like that. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And again, my name is Ray Fluke, television beat writer. Thank you guys for joining me for all 16 episodes of Season 8. Hope you guys join me for Fear the Walking Dead. And we will be back in October, which I'm assuming, for when AMC's The Walking Dead Season 9 begins. But you guys, if you're in the Northeast, stay dry because it's messy out there. For the rest of you guys, just have a really great start to your week. And I will see you on bleedingcool.com. Take care.